Hi there. Do you ever feel judged by other people or by what potentially you're doing at work? Like, is there ever a circumstance where you just feel like people are judging you all the time? Today, I'm going to talk about how to stop judgment in its tracks. Now, it could be either yourself judging others, or it could be the feeling and fear that other people are judging you. Because what will tend to happen is that if you are fearful of being judged by other people, that will actually stop you from wanting to go out of your comfort zone and try new things. Or if you're in work and you're trying to come up with a new idea or a new innovation, if you fear of being judged about what people are thinking about you, then that will actually stop you right in your tracks from actually going out there and trying it. So when we do have that fear, when we're looking in our brain, when we are getting judged, we often get judged, or we feel that we're getting judged because we've had a memory inside of our brain about a time when potentially we were judged. And then once we've got that memory, we remember how that brought up all these experiences and feelings in ourselves, and we then switch on the part of our brain, which is the emotional part of our brain, which actually brings fear to us. So if we're ever fearing judgment from other people, we tend to procrastinate, we tend to self-sabotage, we tend to fear what other people think above what our own thoughts are, and in fact we quit before we actually start doing something. Now, I know that I had a presentation at work a little while ago, and I actually procrastinated quite a bit in putting that presentation together. Not so much actually presenting it, but putting it together. And the reason for that was I remembered that there was another presentation that I did that I wasn't quite au fait with in terms of the content, and I hadn't actually prepared very well for it. And I ended up having a lot of questions that were very tricky, and I felt that people were judging me because of that particular presentation. So in starting something new, I actually found it really difficult to do that because I still had this fear of judgment stuck in my memory bank, which then brought up this huge big fear for me where I procrastinated and I was self-sabotaging by not actually getting that presentation finished. So it was only when I started realizing that that was happening that I actually put a stop to it, and I said, no, that's it. I'm going to go out and creatrix that because I need to be able to get rid of those limiting beliefs around people judging me, and I feel judged. So it can be something as well where we inherit these feelings of judgment as well from past generations. And that can actually come up in us where we have that distinct fear of being judged. But we do need to do like I did before and challenge whether or not that fear of judgment is real. So is there a purpose around it? Is there something that we can do about it? How can we confirm whether that is real? So what do you do if you do get judged? Well, I often now think if I'm going to go off and do a presentation and I feel like that I'm going to get judged, and I used to actually feel like, well, somebody was going to judge me and they'll think that I just don't know my stuff. Well, that's their problem. That's not mine. So thinking about it from that perspective will often actually help to just sort of extinguish that fear of judgment. But as I said, with the creatrix, if I do get a smidgen of that feeling, it's gone pretty quickly. So it doesn't actually affect me emotionally anymore. I'm not actually procrastinating at all when something like that happens. It's also good to feel empathy over anger as well. So when you do have a fear of judgment from someone else, well, show a bit of empathy rather than being angry at them for judging you. Just have a chat to them, and it won't actually sting so much, the thoughts and their words coming at us. Feel sorry for them if you have to. Those negative comments aren't going to serve you well, and it's certainly not serving them well as well. So I always think of any comments that I probably didn't really want to hear. I always think of them as opportunities for improvement rather than criticism. So criticism can be seen as negative, and that can be where you feel you are judged. Well, whereas an opportunity for improvement says, well, okay, I did okay here, but let's have a look at ways that I can actually do better into the future. So it's not so damning. you can, when you have a think of it, you can only actually fear a lot of the time what you can only really be afraid of judgment and the fear of judgment if that's what you're actually doing to others. So for instance, if I'm fearing being judged, it's most often because I'm actually out there judging others. Perhaps I'm thinking that they're not capable, or perhaps I'm thinking that they haven't done a good job themselves. And that fear of judgment in myself is because I'm actually quite experienced in actually judging others. So what you need to do is to be able to catch those feelings of judging others and really twist them around to be able to make sure that you are judging them but showing empathy, and also just stop caring what other people are thinking about you as well. And that's all based upon experience. So you don't need to really care about what others' opinions are, unless of course they're sharing you some feedback which you have requested. But I think the most important thing that I've found that's been really useful is being able to create a tribe around you that's positive, where if they are providing you with feedback, it's not in a judgy way, and they're willing to give you the feedback so then you can improve yourself. So there's some really good intent behind there. So some of the things that are quite useful when you're feeling judged or you're fearful of being judged, you can really just take notice of what's going on around you, making sure that you're not criticizing others, because obviously the fear of judgment in yourself is often because of the judgment of others. So you want to be able to do that. Challenge whether or not it's real. If you do get judged, think of how you're going to respond to that. And most importantly, stop caring about what other people think of you. In the long term, it doesn't really matter too much, does it? Now, if you have this limiting belief around being judged, and it's causing some really deep, intense emotions for you, or it's actually stopping you from getting the stuff done that you need to have done, or it's stopping you from getting ahead in life the way that you want, then get in touch with me. We'll do a blockage identifier consultation, and we'll be able to identify what it is that's specifically limiting you, and we can work through that and set aside some time to be able to put together a plan around how we might be able to get rid of that for you. So yeah, drop me a comment down below if feeling judged or the fear of being judged is something that's an issue for you. And if you've got any particular sort of useful ways to be able to improve on that too, that would be helpful for everybody else around. So I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, if you haven't already, go and like and follow my Facebook page at Trinette Wellness Coach. And at Instagram, Trinette_wellness_coach. All right, feel free to drop me an email as well. All the details are in my bio or my about section. So I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll catch up with you soon. See you.